So glad you can make it again. This is becoming like a ritual between you and I'm really beginning to like it. That sounds really bizarre, actually. But I'm glad you could make it. I know you're all very busy. And I hope you've read the blog about the 15 places to have a beverage or a sandwich on the waterfront. A lot of people didn't realize that you could, in fact, take your bicycle from where I started was Port Credit and go all the way to the beaches, which is, I believe, is about 40 kilometers. And it's fairly nice riding. All the routes are paved. There are some dirt roads for those who like that sort of thing, but for the most part, they're pretty paved. They're pretty casual. But I have to warn you, they are frequented by pedestrians. And pedestrians, well, cyclists get the blame most of the time for moving too fast, but I have to say, pedestrians, lift up your head, take your eyes off of your phone, and when you're crossing a road, look both ways. Just the way your mom or dad, cousin, aunt, guardian should have shown you to walk across a road. Just because it's a path doesn't mean it's not a road. Cyclists, on the other hand, slow down through these traffic areas. Let's all try to get along here. So, as I mentioned earlier, we started off in Snug Harbor in Port Credit. There's a really nice restaurant. It's actually a little higher scale. And they have some really nice food, some really nice cocktails. Ideal to start your ride, or at the end of your ride, go back and have dinner with your better half, or by yourself, or friend, cousin, relative. Doesn't really matter, but it's a really nice place, and I would suggest that it's a place that you may want to venture into. I'm not sure if it's spandex friendly. Now, I'm going to say spandex friendly quite frequently, and what I mean is the shorts that a lot of cyclists wear. I have a couple of pairs. I don't have them with me right now. I could go, hey, there it is, but I think we all get the idea. Let's call it Tour de France clothing. And I think we'll all have a really good idea of what that is. Moving west along there is a place called Lake Promenade Marina and Patio. Now, here is a really small marina patio yacht club. It's actually a bar restaurant that services the yacht club, and it's also a police station there as well, for the Marine unit of Peel Region, if I'm not mistaken. And what happens there, what's really nice there is it's great for people watching. It's really relaxing. You can get a local beer, I believe it's the Port Credit Brewing Company. It's really relaxing. I really enjoy it. It's definitely spandex friendly. And although I haven't had it myself, I have it comes from a competent authority that the Western sandwich there is excellent. The only real drawback with this place is that it is seasonal. But if you're in the neighborhood, it's off Lake Promenade, go to the yacht club down there, have a drink, have a bite to eat, have some fries, whatever works for you, and just enjoy it, because it's really, really enjoyable. As we move further east, because now what we're doing, we're going along the Martin Goodman Trail from west to east. So we're moving further east. And you've gone along some of these urban or these rural streets, and they're all quite nice. There are bicycle paths along them, but basically they are suburban streets that you're going along. And there's signs up all over the place saying Trans-Canada Trail or the Martin Goodman Trail. You can't miss it. It's really, really clearly marked. The next establishment on our journey would be the Maple Leaf House. Now, the Maple Leaf House is at the corner where we finally make our way into, finally there are cars and real urban transportation. But don't be alarmed. There's a really nice, really secure bicycle path that will take you into along Lakeshore Road to Superior Road. And once again, you'll go back on a proper bicycle trail. This actually will lead you right along the lake. Now, back to the Maple Leaf. It has a really nice patio. The food is what you would expect. It's very Canadian, French fries, hamburgers, that kind of thing. It has a patio, you can have a beer or a cocktail, or you can just sit there and watch the streetcars and the traffic go by. Again, here I would say spandex at your own risk. I'm not sure if it's spandex friendly necessarily, or shall I say, I'm not sure if it's spandex unfriendly, but I don't think the clientele generally enjoys the tightness of the spandex around the buttocks, especially on the male. Don't know this for a fact, but brave it if you will. Moving further east, so like I said earlier, we're coming into the Humber Park East Trail. So we're moving east, and all of a sudden we've gone beyond, we've gone back onto the trail, and we're heading east, and we're going to come to what I call the village of Humber Bay Park. Now, it's not officially known as a village, but when you get there, you'll notice that it has lots of village connotations. Here, like many places on this trip, this one specifically is heavily laden by both cars, pedestrians, and other cyclists. Basically, the village comprises of a whole bunch of condos, and this is where these restaurants all kind of fit in. So one of the ones that come to mind immediately is called the Crazy Roll. They've been there for a long time, and what they do, as the name would imply, they do Japanese cuisine. They do sushi, sashimi, and they're quite well known for their sushi pizza, so you might want to consider giving that a try. You can eat in or take away, your choice, and it's definitely a spandex-friendly environment. Next to that, or very close to it, is a place called the BB Cafe. Again, it opened in 2000, so you can tell that it's not, hasn't been there for that long. It's family-owned bakery with lots of Persian-style delights that will tantalize you. You can treat yourself during your ride, or just come by and sit on the patio and rest your buns, no pun intended. And this place, again, would be spandex friendly. Firkin on the Bay. Now, for those who don't know, a firkin is a small barrel. And I believe that so many firkins make up a barrel. Useless information, I know. More importantly, a firkin is a membership group of pubs around the city of Toronto anyways. They may extend beyond that into Mississauga or other parts of Ontario, I don't know. However, what you can expect there is fine beer, good food, a great patio, perfect for people watching, and it is a spandex-friendly environment. So after the long ride, or during the ride, and you're thinking, man, I could really go for some calamari, this might be the place for it. Café Coco Boulanger. I know I'm bastardizing that. Anyways, French bakery, baked goods, very nice. You can eat in, take away, and of course it's French, home of the Tour de France, so you know it has to be spandex friendly. The Eden Trattoria. Now, they say it's casual, but when I look at it, I'm thinking this may not be a spandex-friendly place. The food looks really good. It's very tasty. They have pasta dishes and pizzas and daily specials, all the things you'd expect. But it seems to be a little bit more high-end. So you might want to call in advance to see if they are spandex-friendly, or be on the safe side, bring your trousers in your pannier. So now we've gone through the village, and now we're crossing the Humber Bridge. The Humber Bridge, I'd just like to mention for a second, that is an ideal spot to simply look out over the vastness of Lake Ontario in the Humber Bay. To the east, you can see the downtown core, it's where we're heading to, and to the west, you can see where we've just come. It's actually quite a nice vista. So as you're crossing the bridge, I would say take a couple of minutes, stop, and just really enjoy the view. After you've gone beyond the bridge, the first thing you're going to encounter in terms of cuisine is a place called Royal Burger. This is really just a takeout kiosk kind of place. Want some fries, want a hot dog, want a burger, that kind of thing. Don't worry about seating because there's plenty of lawn. And because of it, it's very spandex friendly. Unfortunately, it is definitely seasonal. The next really nice spot you'll hit is called the Sunnyside Bathing Pavilion. Now, the Sunnyside Bathing Pavilion, just to give you a little background information, in the 1920s, this whole area was an amusement park that also included a racetrack, and it was basically the foundation on which contemporary society at the time spent their recreational moments. Unfortunately, that time is past. What's left now is the bathing pavilion. So as the name would indicate, it is a swimming pool. It's really quite a large swimming pool, and it's inhabited by many, many people every day during the warm summer months. On the lake side of that, you'll find the Sunnyside Pavilion restaurant. And again, they have really nice food, really nice cocktails, lots of patio space for people watching. The lake is out there, volleyball courts, people wandering up and down the boardwalk. I would strongly recommend it. The only real issue I would have with it is that sometimes you can get a little too comfortable there. So if you spent too much time, the rest of your journey either A, won't get completed, or may be very arduous. It's very, 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 very spandex friendly. And as I can attest to, it's only open during the summer months, sadly. As we pass the Billy Bishop Airport, now we're on the Martin Goodman Trail, you've undoubtedly noticed that the population density has grown. There are more and more people because we're heading into the core of the city. You've just passed Billy Bishop Airport, and as you're getting closer towards Queen's Quay, which is a cultural area in the city of Toronto by the lake, you'll come across the Amsterdam Brew Pub. The Brew Pub is an ideal place to have a beer or a bite to eat. Either way, as the name indicates, they're known for their libations. So you will have no issue finding a specific type of beverage that you may be anticipating at that particular time. I haven't verified it, but it may or may not be spandex friendly. You may want to call ahead. They have a really nice patio, so I have this feeling that it is, but you may want to call ahead. You don't want to be the only person wearing spandex in a group of people wearing suits. Maybe you do, I don't know. Moving along, perhaps maybe you've made a little sojourn or a side trip into the Toronto Islands. Off the island, which actually the island's a really nice place to ride on. It didn't actually make the list because it is an island. You actually have to take a ferry to the island and back across. But if you're ever looking for an interesting destination for riding, the island is definitely one. So you got off the ferry, you went to the island, you got off the ferry, now you're hungry. Can I suggest Alexandria's world famous gyros, or gyros for those who want to pronounce it that way, don't know why you would. Here you're going to find meat, tzatziki, onions, and pita. I don't think I have to say any more. I'm not sure if they have a vegetarian menu. I don't think any self-respecting Greek would, but you never know. Sorry, vegans. But I would definitely take the opportunity, if you have a hankering for an gyro or a souvlaki, make the stop. It's definitely worth your while. The Martin Goodman Trail will also continue further east towards the Portlands. Once depicted like the waterfront of Marlon Brando fame, I could have been a contender. I could have been someone. Wrong place, but I had to get it in. This area has been greatly gentrified over the years, and take the opportunity to go down to the Portlands. You definitely will not be disappointed. As you're heading towards the Portlands, you're going to cross a bridge. And that's I guess they call it a lift bridge, so the freighters can go in and out. Right there, you're going to find a place called the Keating Channel Pub. Keating Channel Pub is very similar to the Maple Leaf in the West End, except they have a bigger patio, many different types of beverages. They're well known for having a huge patio, great for people watching. And from what I'm able to understand or comprehend, it's an ideal starting point and finishing point for cyclists. So many cyclists meet up there in the morning, go for a quick jog around, come back, have a bite to eat, have a cocktail, and call that their day. You, of course, are going the long haul. you're almost at your 30-kilometer mark here, and you're moving on. So, but it could be an ideal place to have a cocktail or food if you're feeling that. Not too far along is a place called the Cherry Street Barbecue. Now, I remember this as the Cherry Street restaurant, and I have really fond memories of this location. It was seedy. It was the 70s. I think the 70s and seedies are almost synonymous with one another. I don't know, probably isn't. Sorry, people of my ilk who really loved the 70s, and I did too. But I seem to recall this particular place being a little on the seedy side. Fortunately now, that what it was and what it is are completely different. Here you're gonna find yourself some amazing smoked meats, a bevy of beverages, if you will, and I'm going to assume that it's spandex friendly, at least during the day. In the evening time, maybe not so much. But if you're in the neighborhood, drop by, check it out. I think it's going to be worthwhile. You're going to have a great time. So give it a go. Further along, you've gone down to the Cherry Beach, and now you've taken the path, which is a brand new path. It's quite nice. You're going to cross the bridge. You'll see the Tommy Thompson Park, which is the Leslie Split. Going to head north off that. Keep following the path, keep following the path, keep following the path. Eventually, you're going to get to Asperger's Bay. Now, I wish at Asperger's Bay I could say, man, there's some really great places to eat here, and I didn't want to add in on this vlog, the chain food places, your Tim Hortons, your pizzas. Unfortunately, when you get to Asperger's Bay, I'm forced to do so. So you got a pizza, you got a Tim Hortons, some place called Johnny's Catch, I believe. I'm going to assume they do seafood. I've never heard of them, to be quite honest. And that's it. It's really disappointing because there's such a huge expansion of boardwalk and bicycle trail along the beach that there are no other restaurants or bars on the beach itself. Now, that being said, if you want to cycle up to Queen Street a little bit, it's Queen Street. You're going to find a whole bunch of bars and restaurants there. But I would have thought that you would have something between the Bomb Beach Club, which is a private club, and Asperger's Bay that would actually have cocktails, food, beyond just the coffee. I have to say I'm a little disappointed by that. However, enough said of that. If you started at Snug Harbor in Port Credit, you've just cycled about 40 kilometers to get to the other side of the city. If you made all the stops, you're a fantastic person. And perhaps calling an Uber might be the next best step. Because personally speaking, if you had a cocktail in each one of those places, you shouldn't be cycling. Anyways, I'm just having a little fun with you. I really enjoy this trip. I do it often, and I have to admit, I don't hit all the places. There are a few that I hit all the time, some that I've missed, some that I'm aiming to, I'm looking forward to going to once the thaw occurs. And hopefully by then, there'll be something new at Asperger's Bay that I can go explore and come back and tell you all what it's all about. Always remember that cycling and drinking don't necessarily mix. So be careful on the roads, and I hope to see you on the Martin Goodman Trail once the spring thaw arrives. It's your vacation, it's your escape. Thanks for joining me. Till next time.